Today, we're making a cider braised pork chop. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, let's go ahead and get started on our cider braised pork chop. What we've done, we've taken our pork chops here and we've cut these about an inch apart around the edge where you have that connective tissue, because we want to make sure that the pork chops don't curl as we're cooking them. We're going to take them, we're going to add just a little bit of salt on each side. Now we've got 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil in our pan, and we're going to sear these off. Alright, let's go ahead and get these into our pan. You can hear that sizzle. Stick our porcelain in there. Going to salt and pepper that side as well. We're going to cook these 4 minutes per side for a total of 8 minutes. Alright, let's take a look at these real quick. Oh, look at that. Look at that nice crust on the outside. Nice golden brown. Going to turn those over. Be careful, because you can make sure and get a little grease burn if you're not careful. Alright, we're going to go ahead and brown the other side. Alright, our pork chops have finished browning off. We're going to set these off to the side here. We got a nice golden brown color on both sides. Now we're going to use 1 tablespoon of this oil we have in here. So we got a little bit too much. We have a nice little pan over here that we save all our fat. There we go. We don't want to throw away any of that great flavor that we have left over. Alright, to our pan we're going to add 1 onion, and we have thinly sliced that. And we're going to brown that and bring it to where it's cooked to almost iridescent. Alright, those have become cooked, they've become soft. To that we're going to add 2 tablespoons of flour, 2 teaspoons of minced garlic or 2 garlic cloves, and we're going to add 2 tablespoons of apple butter, and we're not going to cook this very long because the apple butter will burn pretty quick. We're just kind of making a roux, because this is for our gravy. We've been asked about some recipes, especially with what to do with pork, and this is a wonderful recipe to do with that. If you don't have pork chops, you can go ahead and use pork steaks, a pork loin. Just remember that they don't take as long to cook. Alright, that roux is cooked. We're going to add our spiced apple cider. That smells absolutely wonderful. We're going to go ahead and scrape the bottom of the pan. This is one of the reasons that you don't want to use a Teflon pan. So we want to make sure that we get all that flavor from the bottom of the pan. We're going to bring this to a really quick boil, which isn't going to take very long. See how that's beginning to thicken up? We preheated our oven to 300 degrees. Alright, to that we're also going to add our thyme. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of thyme. Actually, we're going to add half a teaspoon of thyme, I'm sorry. Mix that in. We're going to go ahead and turn our heat off. Add our pork chops back to the sauce. Now, if you have any very much juice left over here on your pan, you want to add that. We didn't really have that much juice left over. We're going to cover this with some aluminum foil. And we're going to bake this in the oven for an hour and a half at 300 degrees. Alright, it's been 90 minutes. We're going to take our pork chops out of the oven. those up. It smells really good. The entire time that we're baking, you go in and out, and it's like that. Just smells wonderful. All right, we're going to take our pork chops that we have here, and we're going to set them on a plate off to the side. They're so nice and tender. All right, now that we've got our pork chops out, we're going to go ahead and strain this sauce because we want to get all the extra onions and the lumps out of it. All right, we're going to go ahead and strain the sauce here. Mom's helping me here out because holding this pan. All right. Got that all out. We're going to go ahead and strain it here real quick. Making sure we get as much of that gravy as we possibly can through this sieve. We're going to set this off to the side here. And then we're going to grab a teaspoon and we're actually going to get rid of some of this oil that's on the top. All right, and it's not a lot, but it's enough that you probably just don't want to eat that. As you can see, we have probably a couple of teaspoons of that of oil. All right, that's probably enough. All right, to this, we're going to add 2 more tablespoons of our apple butter, just to help intensify that flavor. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. Just going to give that a nice little mix. And then we're going to add, just to smooth it out, give it a little extra richness, we're going to put in 2 tablespoons of butter. You see that you see us doing that a lot whenever we're making sauces, but you'll be amazed about what kind of difference just adding that 2 tablespoons of butter at the very end that makes. All right, we're going to finish mixing this up, and then we're going to go pour it on our pork chops. All right, let's dish this up. We put some homemade mashed potatoes on the plate. Check out our side dish recipes, and you'll see the recipe for those. We're going to place our pork chop on top of there. We've got our ladle. Look at that gravy. As you mix it all together, it becomes really nice. Let's take a little spoonful of that. All right, there you go. It's going to be a great lunch. If you enjoy recipes like this, please take a moment to like and subscribe.